आज ही डाउटनेट ऐप डाउनलोड करें। डाउटनेट पर होगा अब आपके सभी मैथ्स, केमिस्ट्री, फिजिक्स और बायोलॉजी डाउट्स का सफाया। बस अपने क्वेश्चन की फोटो खींचो, उसे क्रॉप करो और तुरंत वीडियो सोल्यूशन पाओ। डाउनलोड नाउ।
Okay, so hello everyone. Now this question says us to write the drawbacks in the Mendeleev's periodic table, and that led to the modifications. So we have to basically tell the drawbacks in the Mendeleev's periodic table. So we know that the Mendeleev's periodic table was based on the atomic mass, and the modern periodic table is based on the atomic numbers. So the very first drawback was that since it was based on the atomic mass, the classifications were done on the basis of atomic mass. So the very first drawback was regarding the position of isotopes. So let me write. First one was position of isotopes, and in fact this was the one of the major drawbacks. So basically we know that isotopes are those species which have different atomic mass but same atomic number. So for example, hydrogen has 3 isotopes, and according to the Mendeleev, since it is classified on the basis of atomic mass, all the isotopes have to be placed in the periodic table, in the Mendeleev's periodic table, which was not possible because you cannot place isotopes of the same element in the periodic table. So therefore it led to confusions, and this was the major drawback. Now the second drawback was of the anomalous pairs. So let me write anomalous pairs. So basically there were some pairs placed by Mendeleev in which he has not obeyed the atomic mass rule. For example, let me write argon and potassium. So we know that the atomic mass of argon is 39.9 and for potassium it is 39.1. So ideally argon should be placed after potassium, but that was not the case in the Mendeleev's periodic table. So as to match the properties, he had placed it in this way, which was creating confusion, because if you are placing the elements according to the atomic mass, then they should be placed in that way and not according to the properties. So as to match the properties, he has placed argon before potassium, and that was an anomalous pair. There were many others as well. For example, cobalt was placed before nickel. So let me write cobalt was before nickel because cobalt has the atomic mass of 58.9 and nickel has 58.6. Still cobalt was placed before nickel. So these were the anomalous pairs in the Mendeleev's periodic table. Now the third drawback was cause of periodicity. Cause of periodicity. Basically Mendeleev said that the periodicity means repetition of same behavior or same character, but he said that this periodicity or the repetition of the same behavior is related to the atomic mass, but he could not explain that what causes this periodicity amongst the elements. So this was the third drawback. The fourth one was position of lanthanoids and actinoids. Let me write fourth one as position of lanthanoids and actinoids. Basically in the modern periodic table we have different position for lanthanoids and actinoids, but that was not the case with the Mendeleev's periodic table, and this was also a drawback. Finally the fifth one was the convenience of the periodic table. Let me write convenience. For example, these atomic masses are very difficult to remember. They are in decimal positions, whereas the atomic numbers are quite easy. They are whole numbers, so we can easily remember them. But since the atomic masses are in decimals, so it is very difficult for us to remember and rewrite or reproduce the periodic table. Whereas the modern periodic table is on atomic numbers, so it is very easy to reproduce it. So this was a convenience drawback, where because we had to remember these atomic masses all the time or refer to these atomic masses all the time. So these were the major drawbacks of Mendeleev's periodic table. So with this we complete our solution. Thank you.
क्लास 6 से 12 से लेके नीट, IIT, जेईई मेंस और एडवांस के लेवल तक 10 मिलियन से ज्यादा स्टूडेंट्स का भरोसा। आज ही डाउनलोड करें डाउटनेट ऐप या व्हाट्सएप कीजिए अपने डाउट्स 8400 400 400 पर।